welcome back to my channel. My name is Renee. This channel is called A Mother's Wild Heart. It's where I talk about motherhood and mental health and how important it is to look after all those areas of our lives. I really love a holistic approach. So you'll find me talk about a lot of things, and all these things are things that I wish I would have known earlier. So I hope they help you in your journey. I just want to encourage people to be most authentic as they can be and genuine, and there's no reasons to hide any fact. Any difficulty is so normal in life and actually really, really welcome, because we can learn from them and grow from them. So all these challenges I talk about are things that I have had and that I'm still working through, but I have really good steps and strategies to getting to the solution. Today I want to, it's hard to pack such a big topic into one little thing, but Tristan, my husband, does personality coaching, and he loves coaching children. And a lot of people would be like, hey, isn't my child too young to be coached? Tristan says, no, you can see instantly what the child is leaning towards in their personality. So Tristan has discovered that our daughter Noelle is more self than tribe. Tribe means you put everyone else's needs before your own, and that's what I am. Noelle's clearly the opposite. So Noelle will do what works for her. And if I take an emotional approach, like for example, hey, if you keep doing that, that will make mommy really sad, that does not really land much with her, because she'll be like, well, but I enjoy doing this. And it comes across like Noelle is it comes across careless, and it comes across like she's selfish. But Tristan says those are fantastic personalities of leaders, people who get things done. It's usually a more masculine trait, but it means that she's not manipulatable. She doesn't want to be bent over backwards. She doesn't want to be forced into a mold. She'll probably be more of like a thought leader, entrepreneur, maybe like going against the grain. I would love that. So I'm embracing her personality, although I'm finding it a little bit challenging. Like, for example, we were at the markets today and it was beautiful, and there was the stand of a lady with crystals, and she had a really big basket full of crystals, and they were $1 each and really smooth and nice. And we put our hands in, and I loved the feeling of gliding through them, and Noelle did too. So we did that for a minute. I said, oh, Noelle, this is amazing. Look at these crystals. Oh, look how they're glittering in the sun. So we had a good moment. All of a sudden, she filled a handful and threw them in the air, and they're like scattered everywhere, and I was so embarrassed. And then the lady came over and was still really friendly. She's like, oh no. And I was like, I'll help you clean up. So, and I said, Noelle, look what you've done. Oh dear. I didn't even make my parenting style is more peaceful, is mindful. So I was like, Noelle, look what you've done. Oh no, it's scattered everywhere. This lady is really sad now. Let's quickly help her. So I wanted to include her. And it went well for a few seconds. We were all gathering. They were throughout the grass. So I'm sure she would have lost some. And I was like, oh, I'm so embarrassed. And then next minute, Noelle did it again with a bigger handful, just tossed them in the air. And oh, that made me so. So that's when the lady got a bit upset. She's like, well, now. And then I was like, okay, goodbye. I'm so sorry. And I just took Noelle. And she became this floppy fish in my arms. And I was just like, Noelle, look what happened. The lady's so sad. And now mommy's really, really sad. So we had a moment, and then she got over it because she got distracted. And then we saw some dogs, and she was happy again. And then I spoke with her, and I said, Noelle, listen to mommy. It was very sad how you behaved at that stand. And then I kept on saying we had to clean up after you, and we probably can't go there again today. The lady doesn't really want to see little children do that, and it's very important to look with your eyes only. So I did all of that. That sounded so friendly, like the perfect parent almost. If I would have heard that somewhere, I would have taken notes. So I'm like, oh, I did that so well. That's exactly how I want to parent. And then we moved on, and then she went into the car, and I called my husband because it was really hard for me, this interaction. And then I called him and told him, and he was like, yeah, because she doesn't care about. And I'm like, look, I get that, you always say that, but I want her to learn to care. And he said she won't. And I'm like, does that mean ever? And he's like, well, no, until we teach her. I'm like, that's what I'm doing. And he says, well, this approach doesn't work. And then I asked, well, then what works? And he had this really interesting idea. So he said, did you ever connect with her, how she felt in that moment? And I said, oh no. He said, well, that's the first place to start when trying to discipline a child who is self first and not tribe first. It's so important to go there and be like, hey, I know that you are interested in throwing things. You want to know how they fall. You want to know how they scatter. Maybe you even want to pick them all up and do it again. I hear that. That's interesting. That's your part. You really enjoy playing like that. So that's what I should have said. But I'm like, oh, who would do that in the middle of like the shop owner standing over you and all these people? So he's like, I know it's tricky, but if you would have connected with her straight away, she would have learned a lot more out of the situation. Because me saying that made the lady upset, that made me upset, she doesn't really get it. She's like, well, why? It was so fun. And so he said, first connect with how she's feeling, because she'll always do what works for her first. And I shouldn't come from the approach that it made the lady sad. I should have said, because you threw the things, and that's really nice for you, but because you did that, we can't go there again. We had to walk away. Whereas I explained to her, we walked away because, we upset somebody. Whereas I should have said, because you threw, the consequence is we can't play there anymore. And it was so nice to play there, and empathize with her how nice it was to play there. And that's sort of the punishment is not being there anymore because you wanted to try it again. But yeah, I did not do that at all. I kind of forced my opinion onto her, or I forced my feelings onto her. I always put other people first, and I'm telling her that over. I'm like, it makes people upset. It makes me upset. And then I'm quite surprised why she keeps on doing it again. And he says, just change tact, make her feel heard. And this is what I recognize as personality trait or not. It will always help children when we as parents say, oh, I see you really love that right now, but look, this is why we can't keep doing it. Yeah. And that would get their attention way more than, the worst I think is labeling, like, you silly child, or, you never listen. Like, those things are really bad. But firstly, maybe saying, it looks like you're having a lot of fun here. It looks like you really want to keep doing this, but we can't do this. We need to go now. And then when they don't understand why, then we can, have all these implications and be like, if you want to play with the rocks again, we go there, and keep your hands gentle like this, as if you're holding a little animal. We look at them precious. Like, that would help more than even explaining, this belongs to the shop, we haven't bought it yet. So all those things that I always think would help her understand, Tristan would say, I always have to spin them from her perspective. Yeah, because she perceives the world different. I found that so interesting. So yeah, my husband's quite in touch with these things, and I'm very happy to learn from him. I think I always thought my instinct, my gut feeling is more intuitive. Yeah, and Tristan has actually just researched more than me. I studied social work, and I studied children's development, and I studied adolescence quite in depth, but I think Tristan has done specific research into his areas of expertise where he's meeting with his clients at the moment, and he has just found it so relevant to raising Noelle, because she's clearly self. That's what he has discovered, amongst other things, but I won't go into that right now. So I hope that helped somebody. I wish I would have known this earlier, and I'm probably going to go to the market again and try this out, because I definitely don't want to be that sort of mother who, and no judgment if this is how people choose to be, but I don't want to stay at home or avoid places because Noelle had outbursts there. No, I think we will try it again. I'll talk to her, try to connect with her, and endeavor to do that better next time. I hope this meant something to you. My favorite quote is, speak peace to your mind and courage to your heart. Love you. Bye.